Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Jones Jr. versus Pettis fight. If you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, going into this fight, Jones Jr. is 66-9 with 47 KOs, and Pettis was 25-14 with 11 KOs and 8 submissions in MMA. I thought I'd mention this stat because this is classed as a professional boxing fight, and so it's going to add to Jones Jr.'s record, and it's going to add to a professional side of record for Pettis, even though it is only his first professional boxing match. I believe his first boxing match in general. I might be wrong, he might have had an exhibition that I missed out on, but I believe I'm right with that. Jones Jr. is 54 and Pettis is 36, so a big age difference there. I believe if I do the maths right, 18-year age difference there. Jones Jr.'s last fight was a no contest versus Tyson in 2020. Pettis' last 5 MMA fights ended with only one victory, ending at the end of 2020, August 2022. So Mike Tyson, that was a good fight. It was a good test. It was good to see them both going at it, two legends of the game. Pettis, though, of course, things aren't going great for him. Obviously, he's not at the best point in his MMA career. It seems like he might be leaving MMA. I still think he's contracted with the PFL, but I don't think he's going to be hanging around there much longer, especially if he has any sort of success in this sport. Pettis is the former UFC lightweight champion. In 2015, he was the champion, and he was a very good UFC fighter, and for a time was one of the best lightweights around. Of course, he was the champion, so that's why he was one of the best. But I just think that his style kind of caught up to him, and everybody kind of found him out in a way. But I still think at his time he was a very good fighter, and I just don't know if he could ever get back to that kind of same level in MMA again. Also on this card is Aldo versus Stevens, in which I think Aldo will win via TKO in round 4. Stevens, yes, is an MMA fighter. Same with Aldo. They're both coming over for the first pro boxing fight. I believe Aldo's had not professional boxing, but a boxing fight. But yeah, I believe this is his first pro boxing fight. Same with Stevens, and they're not. I don't think it's going to be a great contest. It'll be interesting to see how Aldo is boxing. I don't think Stevens is a good fighter at all. I mean, his record speaks for himself. But I still think he's a game opponent, and it'll be a tough test for Aldo's first pro boxing fight, and I think he'll win it. And then I think with every fighter on this, whoever wins, especially they've got Vitor Belfort as well fighting on this card. I think out of them, so Vitor Belfort, Stevens, Aldo, Jones Jr., Pettis, whoever wins, I think should stay with this company. This is Masvidal's promotion company. It's their first event, and I think Gamebred Promotions is what it's called, and it's kind of come out of nowhere. I didn't expect this to be happening, but I like it. I don't hate it. I think it's giving a platform to maybe lesser known boxers. There's lesser known boxers on there, MMA fighters who might be looking to do something different, or ex-professional fighters in Jones Jr. that's just looking to get back into boxing, and it's setting up pro boxing, which I like to see. It's not just exhibition fights, which Floyd Mayweather loves, where if it ends and it can just end in a no contest, that's boring. I like the pro side of things, and it kind of, to in an extent, means that if you are going to be fighting still, yes, it is not going to be against maybe the best of opponents, but it does still mean something to your record, and it's not just for no point. There is something back behind it, and so yeah, I don't hate it, and I think if they can keep putting on good shows like this with big names on, then they could be a good promotion. But back to the Jones Jr. Pettis fight. Pettis is a cruiserweight, and so he's going up in weight. I don't think this has been a fast go up in weight. I think he is been around this weight for a while now in cruiserweight, but of course he had its success down in lightweight, and maybe that's a problem as well. Maybe he struggles at this weight. I haven't seen much of his recent fights. Of course, when he was fighting the big names, he was a big name himself, and he was an entertaining fighter to watch, and I'll never forget that KO he had against Wonderboy Thompson. That was a crazy KO and kind of came out of nowhere, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he's like at this weight division. Of course, Jones Jr. is a heavyweight, and so he's going to have to come down for this. I believe it's in cruiserweight. I might be wrong. BoxRec says heavyweight, and I've read some articles and that says cruiserweight, so I think it's cruiserweight. And so yeah, Jones Jr. will have to come down for that if it is so. Jones Jr. though is an experienced fighter, of course. He's got a fast jab, he's powerful, he ties you up, he's aggressive, and he's good. Has good hand speed. I'm all just with this kind of attribute wise thing. I'm just going off the last fight versus Mike Tyson and what he's shown. I'm not just going to go back into his prime and just look at what he was doing back in his prime. I'm going to look at probably the more recent kind of fights. In that last fight versus Tyson, he did have a fast jab, he had fast hands, he wasn't really landing with much power. I think he did lose that fight. He does have power, of course, crazy amounts of power, but he wasn't really using it loads. I feel like he was there to mainly not lose, I suppose, and just show a bit of ability, and I don't hate that. I mean, they're both old fighters now, they're both past their prime by a long way, both Tyson and Jones Jr., but they did put on a good show, and it was a good event in general. And yeah, overall, I think he's still a good fighter. He's still a tough opponent for everybody, but I don't think he's at nowhere near the level of what he was. And you can see the age is caught up with him. I mean, he's got slow movement now. He's not as comfortable under pressure. He's got slow tempo. He's not got great conditioning. He'll hold out the jab at times where he'll use it, it'll be fast to get there, and then he'll just leave it there and be open for a counter then. And all these kind of things, and same with the conditioning and the slow tempo and the slow movement. It's just something that happens with his age. I mean, I suppose movement isn't too bad at times, but it can be quite slow, and was quite slow in that last fight. And it is just because of what his age, really. I'm not trying to take away anything from his big pro career. That was an amazing career, and I mean, like I said, I don't hate this fight, and I don't hate the fact that it's happening. I quite enjoy it, really. And I mean, if Jones Jr. wants to keep putting himself in the ring, then fair enough. Maybe there does have to be a point when he does get to a certain age where somebody's like, maybe, hold on a minute, you're a bit older now, and maybe it's not the smartest thing to be getting in the ring. But I think at 54, it's still acceptable to be getting into the ring, and yeah, I don't hate it. But Pettis is a fighter. He's got a high guard, he'll walk you down, he's an accurate fighter, he waits for the openings, he's always in front of you, he picks his punches quite well. This is all when he's doing at his best. Obviously, when he's not at his best, he's not the best of fighters, but he's always in front of you. That's something which Jones Jr. might not mind. He might want to clinch that and use the clinch well with that. He's accurate, which is something that's interesting. Jones Jr. was struggling with the fine range in that Tyson fight, but that accuracy and that the straight shots is what Pettis can use quite well. And so if he can put that together quite well, if he can, he doesn't throw the highest amount of volume, but if he can throw more, then I think that's something which Jones Jr. might struggle with. If he just throws more of a higher volume of punches, which I know he's not known for, but it's because he is always in front of you, and so if he can be in front of you and throw more, then that's a chance for Pettis to win. But I don't know if he will. I mean, in general, he's not known as a KO artist, except from obviously when he was fighting Thompson, that was a great KO, and he has other good KOs, but I wouldn't say he's particularly known to be a KO artist. He is a good striker. He is also a slow starter as well, but it's just the fact that he picks his punches well. Like I said, accurate. Them things can help out very much. Jones Jr. is the favourite for this fight. And I think that Pettis will win via unanimous decision. I think it will be probably quite a close fight. It could be a split decision, to be completely honest. I don't know how the judges are doing it. It might just be a decision. I don't know if there are 3 judges and everything's going to be professional like that. But I think Pettis will win. I think it's his youthfulness, and just he's going to have more energy, I suppose, and if he can just maybe miss the occasional punch from Jones, the occasional big punch, then I think he'll have a chance to be able to win this one. Obviously, Jones Jr. does still have the hand speed, and he does still have the fast jab, but I don't really think he throws him with enough intent anymore. And yeah, I think Pettis will win this, and will have a chance to win this. I think this is a good fight for Pettis to take. Obviously, it's a huge name in Jones Jr., and if he can win it, then he puts his name back in I suppose, a big place. I was going to say in contention, but not really in contention for anything, but just in a big area, big name. Be interesting to see if he can win it. And then, yeah, like I said, I think if he wins it, he should stay in boxing. Same with anybody who wins this on this, they should stay in boxing and see what happens with the Game Bread promotions. It's something that I'm interested in. Looking forward to the future. Hopefully, they can keep putting on good cards like this, and I'll keep tuning in, I suppose, and keep being entertained by it. And hopefully, it's not a shit show. But yeah, if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and thanks for watching.